Do you like the look of digital crafting but don't want to spend money on software finding out if it's for you? Or do you want to do more with your digital downloads? Or maybe you just want to mix your pixel and paper and get hybrid crafting easy? In this video, we're going to explore accessing all images using a draw document. And the software I'm using is free. Hi, I'm Michelle Jackson-mogford from MJM Design Studios. I design digital craft collections and want to show you how easy it is to access all images. And this will work for any of your digital downloads that you've already got, or CD-ROMs, or even your own images. Anything that acts like a photograph, so it's a JPEG or a PNG, basically acting like a photograph, then you can use this method for it. I'm using a simple draw program, which is part of an Office suite, and it's the same Office suite that I used in my Access All Images word processing document video. So you may already have it. If you haven't, don't worry, you can download it for free. You might already have Microsoft Office, or you might already have some kind of Office suite, and if you do, that's fine. It'll probably have a draw program in it, but the software I'm using is free, and you can download it for free at libreoffice.org, and I'll put the link in the description down below. So shall we move on and go and look at the computer and see what it's all about? So this is Libre Office, and down the left hand side of the screen you'll see all the elements of the program that you can use. You may have already seen my Access All Image videos using the Writer document, which is a word processor, but today we're going to use Draw Drawing. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to take it a step further than a word processing document. So the first thing to do is set up our page. On the left hand side you'll see Pages, and this is where we can right click on a page and click New Page and add pages to our project. And then on the right hand side we've got the toolbox here, and at the moment all there is the page setup section, because there are no elements on our page to do anything with. So we can format different sizes here. There's lots of preloaded ones for you to choose from there. We can make it landscape, or we can make it portrait, and we can add a background to each page if we want to from the preloaded backgrounds that are within the software, or we can actually insert our own image. So when you insert image, it takes you to all the files on your computer. This is my I Doodle Love You collection, and you can open a background and it will insert it to each page, and you can have that on as many pages as you want to. So it's handy if you're doing a mini book or anything like that. If you don't want an image on there, go back to the background, drop down menu and click None. We can change the margins here, so we can change the size of our margins so we get the maximum print space possible. I'm going to set it to narrow, so if you have a print that doesn't print borderless, then set it to narrow. If you do have one that prints borderless, there is an option to click None. Next thing we're going to do is look at Insert Image. So like with a word processing document, on the top toolbar you'll see a little picture icon which is Insert Image, and when you click that, again it takes you to the files on your computer. Click an image, open it, and then you can manipulate it from there. But there's a step further that we can take, and if we go to the toolbox on the right again and find the picture icon here, it will say Gallery, and when we click on that, it's going to open up a whole host of galleries that are preloaded into your software, but you can also add your own folders to this gallery. Now when you add the folders to this gallery, they'll also add into the word processing document as well. So if you've already seen the video on the word processing document, you can actually do this in exactly the same way. So you'll see I've already got Doodle Love within my gallery, so I can simply select an image, drag it onto the page using the left button on my mouse and manipulate it as I want to. And it's really, really easy to add to this gallery, and I'm going to show you very, very quickly. So you click New Theme here, and in these boxes you make sure your General tab's open and give your new theme a name. So we'll just call this Demo at the moment, and then you click Files, which is the tab along here, and then we go Find Files, and that again will take you to the pictures on your computer. Now when you click the folder that you want, you would feel like you would need to open it by double clicking, but it's not going to show you anything. So if we just go back to the folder, you'll see at the bottom it says select folder. So if you get a blank page, remember to just go to the folder and select folder, and that's put in all of the images that are in that folder are there ready. So I'm just going to select a few because obviously it's going to take a while if we select all of them to process. So you can just hold your, so if you click the first one, hold your Shift key down, which is the big arrow pointing up key, and then click your left mouse button. You can select a few all at once, and we click add. And it says apply, and when that box is finished you can click OK, go back to your gallery, and now you'll see this is the new collection called demo, and this is what we've just added. So again, there's that same balloon to just drag and drop onto your page, and you can add to these folders so you don't have to do everything in one go. If you go back to the name of it here in new theme and right click and go to properties, that takes you back to that file box. We find the files, we click the folder, we select the folder, and then we just highlight one, hold the Shift key down, click at the bottom there, add. When that box has disappeared, click OK, and then you'll see that we've just added these birdies to the gallery like this. So there you go. So it's as easy as that to make your DigiKit into a gallery theme on the Draw program. So what we're going to do is I'm going to actually delete that page, and we'll start at page 1 here. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in some papers. So the same way that we did with the word processing document, the papers here are all 8 by 8 squares, and that's quite common to DigiKit collections. But I want this square paper to be A4, so I simply grab the nodule in the middle here with the left button on my mouse, and I drag it down to the bottom, and I've got an A4 paper to work with. So we're going to add a new page to the project here, and this time we're going to do a patterned paper and show you what happens with that. So when you add the square on here, put it to the top of the page. If I drag this same nodule down like this, it's going to distort the pattern image, isn't it? So go up to the top here and you'll find an undo button. Always your best friend. Find the undo button and reverse what we've just done. While this is selected, we go along this toolbar here, and we're going to pick this tool up, which is the crop image. It might say crop tool. It's a crop image. Click it, and you'll see these nodules have slightly changed shape, and we're just going to grab this middle one here on the side, and we're going to push it in like that. And you see that the paper's still here, it's just gone faint, and that's the bit we've got. And we're making this an A4 shape. Click off of the image and click back on it to select it, and then grab the nodule here and drag out diagonally to the bottom of your A4 page. We've still got the big gap here, so we remedy that by going back to the crop tool on the top, and then we just drag out the same nodule, but we drag it outwards to the edge of the paper like that. And when we click off, we see we've got a perfectly formed patterned A4 paper. So let's build something and show you more capabilities of this program. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a little topper. So we've got this lovely rainbow here, lots of lovely rainbows in this collection. We size everything just by using the nodules on the corner, and then we can grab them and move them around. I'm going to go back up to the top, and we're going to have a cloud of the clouds with the rainbow hearts on it, like that. And I'm going to have this cloud here. Now we can rotate things within this program. So when they're selected, if you click them again, you'll see these buttons turn orange. So the nodules turn orange, and when you hover over it with your cursor, you can actually spin your image like this. So you can do little subtle turns to spin it to the right place. And I want this to go behind the rainbow. So I'm going to select, you click off to deselect the orange dots. And then you click on it to select the item again to then do something different with it. And if we go up to here, you'll see it says arrange. Now I've already popped my, I've got it on my third toolbar here. But if it isn't there, what you need to do on the drop down here is grab that box and you would drag it out so it goes into that position there. You can actually leave it like that if you want to, and then we just close and go back to here. Or if you drag it along to here where you see this box, hatch box behind, and drop it, it'll drop it onto your third toolbar. So this allows you to bring things to the front, bring forward, send back, or send all the way back. And we want to send this all the way back, so we want to hit the back of the arrangement that we've got so far. So let's just position that there. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom of the collection, because I know I want the sun, and the sun is near the end. And we'll bring the sun on there. Again, we just give it another click. Oh, it's not going to work. There we go. Give it another click like that. Bring it there, and we'll send that one all the way back. Now, a really cool thing that we can do in the Draw program, which we can't do in the word processing program, is add shadows. So I'm just going to go down to the bottom here, and I'm going to zoom in on the images so you can see them closer. And I'm going to select this cloud here. And what we do is we travel over to the right hand side here. So we don't want the gallery anymore. We want to go back to properties, which will give us our toolbox. And then that gives us all the tools that we can manipulate our images with. And we're going to go to the shadow section, and we click enable. And as soon as we click enable, you see that there's a shadow has appeared under the cloud here. And then we can change the shadow. We can, on the right hand side, we can change the colour of the shadow. So you could have really funky coloured shadows if you want, or you can make it darker. We can change the distance it is from the image. So let's really exaggerate this. And you can see it's dropped right out there. And we can also change the angle. So we can move it to the top or the side or wherever we want it. We can put it back where it was. And then we can change the transparency. I don't want to do that. Then we can change the transparency there. So it can be a more subtle shadow if that's what you want. And I'm just going to move that back in like that. So again, you select the image. So I've selected the rainbow this time. Click enable. Change the colour of the shadow. Change the distance it is. And we're going to change the transparency. So I've done distance of 6, distance of 4. Let's do a distance of 2 on this one. Enable shadow, darken it. So the further back they go, but this is just how I work. You can do it however you want to. Just do the shadows in a little bit tighter. Go there so we can select the sun. Enable shadow. And once again make it darker. And do that. And transparency. Like that. Okay, so if we zoom back out, then we can see our image a bit better. Like that. Okay, so now we're going to add some more elements. So again, we want to go to gallery on the right to open up our collection. I'm going to actually just shrink the page column down here. So there's a little arrow. Can you just see the little arrow there? And if you click that little arrow, it says hide, and it'll just drop that back. We can get that back later by just clicking the arrow out where it says show. So we're just going to hide just to give us a bit more space here. So I can zoom in a bit further. And I'm just going to drag and drop some flowers onto my grey space. Now I'm going to use a grey space like I would my craft table, just so I can decide what I want to use, if I want to use any of these, so I can just have a look. I like that one, bring that one over there. I like that one, bring that one there, and we'll have this one. I'm going to actually put that one on straight away. Oops, again undo button because I grabbed the rainbow instead of the flower. So let's shrink this down a little bit and bring it up to here. And I'm going to bring this flower on here like this. Now I want it over that leaf there, so I'll just bring it forward one. And let's bring that one down to there. And let's bring that all the way forward. That one. The pink one, and I'm just going to turn it that way, click off, select it again, shrink it down, and it needs to come forward like that. Shrink it down a bit further. There we go. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So there's the flowers on. Now I want to add shadows to all these flowers, and I could do them all individually, but if you take your cursor, hold the left button down on your mouse, and then draw an imaginary line around them, it selects them all in one go. You can go to the properties on the right hand side, and you can click enable shadow, and you'll see it's added a shadow to every single flower in that group, which is great. So it saves loads of time. So I think we shall make it slightly darker. I think I'm going to leave it at 6 because it's quite a way forward, and we'll just drop the transparency on them. So that's a really quick way to add your shadows. I'm going to add in, back to gallery, and I'm going to add a sentiment. So we'll go to the bottom of the collection here, and we'll bring in the sentiment. I'll drop it in about there, and I'll send that all the way back. Let's just zoom out one click so I can see. Yep, happy with that. I'm going to bring on this flower just to lift this end of the sentiment slightly, just to make it pop a little bit more. Let's make it smaller. I'm going to send that all the way back, just a little bit smaller, and pull it out a little bit there, like that. And I think we need something here. I think we'll have a little birdie. So travel back up to the top. There's the bird. Now a really easy way to, I want to flip this round because I want it facing the other way. So go back to our properties box here. So if you think to yourself, I want to do something with this image, I need tools, think of this as your toolbox. That's how my brain works anyway. And if we travel all the way down to the bottom of this toolbox, you're going to see your flip tools here. So you flip upside down or back to front. We've also got the rotation button here. This is your size button, so we can actually size in here as well. So let's just face him the right way that I want to face him. I know I want him to be a bit smaller, so let's make him, so if I change him to 5 centimeters height here, because my keep ratio button is ticked, it will just automatically change the width. And I'm going to use the rotation button here, so it's like a little dial, to actually turn him. So that's another way that you can turn your images like that. I'm actually going to make him, so his height says 6 centimeters. I'm going to make him 5.5. There, that's a good size. Let's just have him over the edge of the flowers there like that. And then while we're in the toolbox, let's add a shadow to him like this. I'm going to keep it at 6, and we'll just drop the transparency. Come on. There we go. So we drop transparency. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm just going to select that yellow flower there, and just to get rid of it, I just click the delete key on my keyboard. It's as simple as that. So let's zoom out so we can have a look. I'm really happy with that. So now I'm going to draw an imaginary box around the whole design. So much bigger than you think it is, because anything that's with outside sometimes, so if you look at the sun, you see it's quite big, the sun, the nodule is quite big, so we need to make sure we grab everything within that arrangement. If we then right click it and go to the bottom of the pop out menu that comes up, it says group, and click group, that now means that all these will move as one image. So it makes it a lot easier when you're coming to arrange things on a page. We're actually going to shrink it down a little bit because I know it's have to be a bit smaller for what I want to do. And I'm going to add in, I'm going to go back to gallery on the right, and I'm going to add in a piece of paper behind to make a topper. So go back down to my papers, and I'm going to drag this on, and as you've seen, they come on as squares, 8 by 8 squares, and I want it smaller, so I'm going to go back to properties, and I'm going to change it to, it's 19.7 at the moment, I'm going to make it 17.5 because I want to put this onto an 8x8 card. And the easiest way to centre everything is to right click that paper and go to the align on the drop down or the pop out and click centred that way and align and centred that way. That's now right in the middle of the page, and we'll send it all the way back. And then I can click on the group of elements that we did like this, and I can do exactly the same. So I can centre it that way and I can centre it that way, and then you can see it's exactly in the middle of that page. And I'm just going to click it again and make it a tad smaller like that, and I could align it again, but I think I'm quite happy with it like that. Now I want another layer behind this mat, so once again we're going to go to the gallery. I'm going to bring on this scallop paper here. We know it's 8x8, so this is going to be the mat on my 8x8 card. So we'll align it centre and align it centre that way, and we send it all the way back, and now you've got a perfect mat and layer. Now we can just print that off and then have it as a flat topper on an 8x8 card, or you could save the image and email it to friends as an e-card, or use it on social media, or whatever you want to do with it. So it's entirely up to you how you use your images. But I'm going to show you how to do a hybrid version. So I'm going to pop this pages box out again, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to right click on that third page and I'm going to click copy, and then if I right click again and click paste, you'll see I've got exactly the same on page 4, and I'm going to do page 5, and I'm going to do page 6, and there is method in my madness. So we've got a full topper there. If I go to page 4, click all the elements and delete, click the scallop paper, the gridded paper and delete. I'm just left with the scallop paper to print off exactly the right size. On page 5, I'm going to click the scallop paper and delete, and I'm going to click on the group of elements and ungroup this time. So I'm going to ungroup them so I can access different elements, and I'm going to remove the cloud with the rainbow hearts, the flowers, and I can do that by grouping. So I'm just going to draw an imaginary box around them flowers and the bird and delete, and just leave that on the page. So I'm going to use that as the base for my hybrid card. On page 6, I'm going to select the scallop and the gridded paper, right click the group of elements and ungroup, and this time remove everything that I left on the base for the hybrid. So that, and that, leaving me with the cloud, the flowers and the bird. Again, imaginary box around everything, properties, find the shadow section and just take the tick out of the enable, and that's actually going to take the shadow off everything all in one go. I don't want the shadows on because I'm going to cut these out as hybrid elements to craft with. And then you simply arrange these on your page. So you're going to separate them all out to print them and then cut them out and craft with. And then don't forget, if you want to layer up some of the images, you just copy and paste. So we've got two birdies exactly the same size. Again, with the flowers you can do that, copy a flower, paste a flower, and it lands on top of itself. So don't think it hasn't worked, it's just landed. So if I paste again, it's actually there, it just lands on top of the original image. And then you can fill that sheet up with loads of images to add to your hybrid card and print off, or keep for later projects, or you can just print off the whole thing in one go and keep it flat, or like I said, save it as an electronic image. And when you're happy, you simply go to File and to Print it all off and go and get crafty. I've printed off what we've just created in the computer demo using the draw program, so you can see the papers that are printed off and our random element sheet. So now you can go ahead and you can make your own paper packs, you can make your own embellishment packs, you can do whatever you want now, you can access your images. And then we use the draw document as a design tool. So we designed our little topper here. And remember, we also added in behind it the scallop paper and we separated them out. And from that, I've just made a very simple project here where I've kept the topper flat. And of course, because we've had the ability to use the shadowing in to make it that digital, give it that digital look, you've got that 3D image, even though it's flat. But we've just added the extra texture by separating the matte and layer. We've added a bit of extra texture there. And then we took it a step further where we removed some of the elements off of that topper. So we've left part of the topper digital, and then we made this element sheet up here with the other bits and pieces. And then we can take our project a step further as well, because then we can start to add even more dimension with our foam pads, build our flowers up, add your gems, add an extra bit of doodling around the edges, whatever it is you want to do. Now you know how to access all images. The sky really is the limit, and I hope you enjoy creating your projects. So you see how easy it is to access all images using the draw program, and it gives you a little bit more capabilities. It allows you to manipulate a bit more, adding those shadows, getting that digital crafting look, and just getting on and creating amazing projects, whether they're hybrid or whether you keep them digital. Digital collections are a great resource. You can print them onto all different mediums. You can print onto fabrics and you can print onto acetates, and there's even shrink plastic now. So really the possibilities are endless once you start to get into digital crafting, and it opens up a whole new world, and it doesn't take anything from your scissors and glue and the crafting that you do at the moment. It just adds to your toolbox. If you'd like any of my craft collections, please visit my Etsy store, which is MJM Design Studios, and I'll put the link in the description box below. And while you're there, please subscribe and click the bell for notification of videos coming up. Thanks for stopping by and watching. I hope it's been a helpful video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and there'll be more crafty goodness coming up soon. So until then, happy crafting.